My beloved children, I come to you this morning with a heart full of compassion and purpose, for I know that many of you carry heavy burdens and face uncertain paths. Before the sun reaches its full height, and before the distractions of this world pull you in 1,000 different directions, I ask you to sit with me, to breathe deeply, and to surrender your worries into my hands. You see, the decisions you make today will shape your tomorrow, and too often you rush forward without seeking guidance, without pausing to listen to the still, small voice that dwells within your spirit. I am here to teach you the power of prayer, not as a ritual or empty words, but as a transformative conversation with the divine that will change everything about how you move through this world. Close your eyes for a moment and feel my presence surrounding you, wrapping around you like a warm embrace, because you are never alone in your struggle, never abandoned in your confusion, and never forgotten in your pain. Consider the woman who came to me in great distress, her body ravaged by years of continuous bleeding that had left her depleted, ashamed, and desperate. She had spent all her resources seeking healing from physicians, yet none could help her, and so she believed herself condemned to live in isolation and suffering. But when she heard of my arrival in her town, something awakened within her, a flicker of hope that refused to be extinguished. She did not wait for the perfect moment or for all her doubts to disappear. Instead, she pushed through the crowds, knowing that if she could simply touch the hem of my garment, healing would flow through her. And when her fingers brushed against the fabric of my cloak, power went out from me into her body, and immediately she was made whole. What this woman teaches us is that desperation can become devotion, that reaching out in faith, however broken and imperfect that faith may be, opens a doorway for miracles to enter our lives. Before you make your decisions today, especially decisions concerning your work, your relationships, your finances, or your future, will you reach out with that same kind of faith? Will you refuse to be paralyzed by doubt and instead take the courageous step toward the divine? I want to speak to those of you who are standing at a crossroads this morning, uncertain which direction to take. Perhaps a job opportunity has presented itself, and you do not know whether to accept or decline. Perhaps a relationship has reached a critical point, and you must decide whether to deepen your commitment or to walk away. Perhaps a financial decision looms before you, and you fear making the wrong choice. Perhaps you are considering a move to a new city, a career change that feels both exciting and terrifying, or a personal transformation that requires you to step into an unfamiliar version of yourself. Whatever your decision may be, I urge you to bring it before me in prayer, not as a demand, but as a sincere inquiry, an opening of your heart to receive wisdom that transcends your own limited perspective. Too many of you make choices based solely on fear or greed, on what others expect of you or what your ego desires, and then you wonder why those decisions lead to suffering and regret. But when you pause to pray, when you seek alignment with your highest self and with the divine purpose that flows through all existence, your decisions become infused with intention, clarity, and grace. Think of the man who was brought to me, unable to walk, paralyzed by an illness that had confined him to his bed for years. His friends loved him so deeply that they removed the roof of the house where we were gathered, lowering him down through the opening on a mat so that he might reach me. And I looked at this man and saw not his physical ailment, but the deeper wounds of his soul, the shame he carried, the self-condemnation, the belief that somehow his suffering was a punishment for his sins. So I said to him, "Your sins are forgiven," before I addressed the physical paralysis, because I understood that true healing begins in the spiritual realm, in the forgiveness and release of the burdens we carry in our hearts. Then I said to him, "Rise, take up your mat, and go home." And immediately he stood up, rolled up his mat, and walked out before everyone, healed not only in body, but in spirit. And transform your relationship with yourself and with life itself. Before you decide, I ask you to examine your motivations with ruthless honesty. Are you choosing from a place of love or from a place of fear? Are you being guided by your highest values or by your lowest impulses? Are you considering the well-being of others or only your own advancement? Are you aligned with truth or are you compromising your integrity? These are the questions you must ask in prayer, sitting quietly with yourself and with me, until you can distinguish between the voice of your ego, which speaks in urgency and judgment, and the voice of your soul, which speaks in peace and compassion. The ego will tell you that you must win at all costs, that you must prove yourself, that you must accumulate more and become more impressive. But your soul will tell you that you are already whole, already worthy, already beloved, and that your decisions should flow from that knowledge rather than from desperate striving. I remember the day when the Pharisees brought to me a woman caught in adultery, dragging her forward with accusations and condemnation, demanding to know what I would do with her, since the law required that she be stoned. But they were not truly concerned with justice. They were using her suffering as a test, trying to catch me in some error so they could condemn me. But I did something unexpected. I bent down and wrote in the sand, and then I stood up and said, "Let he who is without sin cast the first stone." And one by one, beginning with the oldest, the men walked away until the woman and I were alone. I looked at her with eyes full of compassion and said, "Woman, where are your accusers? Has no one condemned you?" She said, "No one, Lord." And I replied, "Neither do I condemn you. Go and sin no more." What this teaches us about decision-making is that judgment is not the highest wisdom, that rushing to condemn ourselves or others leads us astray, and that true strength lies in choosing compassion, forgiveness, and another chance. Before you make decisions today, especially decisions about how to treat others or how to treat yourself, remember this woman and ask yourself whether you are operating from judgment or from... I know that many of you wake up in the morning already feeling anxious, already carrying the weight of decisions that seem too large for your shoulders to bear. Your mind races through countless scenarios, imagining all the ways things could go wrong, and by the time you have finished your coffee, you are already exhausted. But this is not the way I designed you to live. I created you with the capacity for peace, for trust, for surrender. And when you begin your day with prayer, when you take even 15 minutes to sit quietly, to breathe consciously, to speak your truth to the universe and listen for the response that comes back, you fundamentally shift your relationship with uncertainty. Prayer is not about getting what you want. It is about wanting what you get, about aligning yourself
so deeply with the flow of life that you trust your own decisions because you know they flow from a place of wisdom rather than from panic. Consider the story of the blind men who called out to me as I was passing through Jericho, their voices rising above the noise of the crowd, their desperation unmistakable. The people around them told them to be quiet, to stop making such a fuss, but they refused to be silenced, and I stopped and asked them, "What do you want me to do for you?" They said, "Lord, let our eyes be opened." And in that moment of directness, of clear intention about what they needed, healing came to them. Their sight was restored, not because they deserved it or because they had earned it, but because they asked with faith and clarity. So I ask you this morning, are you clear about what you truly want? Or have you allowed yourself to be silenced by others' opinions, by your own doubts, by the noise of the world? Before you make any major decision today, get quiet and ask yourself this fundamental question. What is it that I truly desire? Not what I think I should want, not what others expect me to want, but what does my soul genuinely long for? And once you know that, bring that desire into prayer and ask for guidance about how to pursue it in a way that honors both yourself and the well-being of others. There is a kind of prayer that goes beyond words, and this is the prayer I want to teach you this morning. When you still your mind and sit in silence, when you feel the breath moving in and out of your body, when you observe your thoughts without judgment and let them pass like clouds moving across a sky, you are engaging in a form of prayer that is extraordinarily powerful. In these moments of stillness, you become receptive to guidance that cannot arise, knowing blooms, and you suddenly understand things that your rational mind could never have figured out. This is the prayer of presence, and it is available to you every single day, every single moment, if you are willing to slow down enough to access it. I tell you that the power of prayer is not magical thinking or wishful fantasy. It is a real transformation that occurs when you align your consciousness with higher consciousness, when you step out of the narrow confines of your individual ego and connect with the larger intelligence that animates all of existence. When you pray, you are literally rewiring your brain, changing your body chemistry, and shifting your energy field in ways that science is only beginning to understand. Studies show that people who pray regularly have lower stress hormones, stronger immune systems, better cardiovascular health, and more resilience in the face of adversity. But more than that, people who pray develop a sense of meaning and purpose that protects them against despair and depression. They feel connected to something larger than themselves, and this connection gives them the strength to make difficult decisions and to persevere through challenges. Before you decide whether to speak up in a meeting when you disagree with your colleagues, pray for courage and wisdom. Before you decide whether to end a friendship that has become toxic, pray for discernment and compassion. Before you decide to forgive someone who has hurt you, pray for the capacity to release resentment and move forward. Before you decide to pursue a dream that seems impossible, pray for faith and persistence. In every moment, in every decision, I am available to you. And when you take the time to acknowledge that availability, to speak your concerns into the silence, and to listen for the response that comes back, you align yourself with the power that created galaxies and healed the sick and raised the dead. That same power flows through your veins and animates your consciousness, and it is available to you for guidance, for healing, for transformation. I remember a man named Zacchaeus who was a tax collector, despised by his community because he collaborated with the Roman occupiers and was known to be corrupt and dishonest. He was short in stature, and when word spread that I was coming to his town, he desperately wanted to see me, but the crowd was too large and he could not push through. So he did something that required both determination and vulnerability. He climbed a sycamore tree so that he could see over the heads of those blocking his view. When I reached that tree and looked up, I could have walked past him like everyone else did, but instead I said, "Zacchaeus, hurry and come down, for I must stay at your house today." Can you imagine how shocked everyone was? Why would I, known for my holiness and purity, associate with such a man? But I understood something profound, that beneath Zacchaeus' corrupt exterior was a soul that longed for redemption, a heart that was hungry for connection and acceptance. And when I affirmed him, when I did not reject or condemn him, but instead extended my friendship and recognized his intrinsic worth, something awakened within him. He immediately repented, saying, "Behold, Lord, half of my possessions I will give to the poor, and if I have defrauded anyone of anything, I will repay it 4 times over." His entire life transformed, not because I forced him to change, but because I saw his potential and loved him into wholeness. This is what prayer can do in your life. It can help you see yourself as I see you, not as your mistakes, not as your failures, not as the judgments others have placed on you, but as a being of infinite potential, worthy of redemption and love and second chances. Before you decide to give up on yourself or on someone else, pray for the vision to see beyond what currently appears. Before you decide to isolate yourself in shame or judgment, pray for the courage to accept yourself and others exactly as you are right now. Before you decide that your past disqualifies you from your future, pray for the grace to believe in resurrection. And
I want to speak now to those of you who are facing health decisions, who are confronted with diagnoses or treatment options and do not know which path to choose. I do not minimize the fear that arises in these moments, the very real anxiety about mortality and suffering. But I ask you to bring these decisions into prayer with an open heart. Ask for guidance not only about the medical choices, but about how to use this challenge as an opportunity for spiritual deepening. Ask for strength not only to endure the physical treatment, but to examine your life and to realign with what truly matters. Ask for healing, not only of the body, but of the soul, for many physical illnesses have emotional and spiritual roots, and when you address those deeper dimensions, the body often heals more readily. This does not mean that you should reject medical care or pretend that illness is not real. Rather, it means that you should integrate medical treatment with spiritual practice, that you should see your illness as an invitation to come closer to me and to yourselves. I remember the woman with the issue of blood, and I also remember Jairus, a synagogue leader whose daughter was dying. His desperation was palpable, and he fell at my feet and pleaded with me to come to his house and heal her. As I went with him, the woman with the issue of blood touched my cloak, and I paused to acknowledge her and to affirm her healing. And Jairus must have felt frustrated, thinking that every moment I delayed was a moment closer to his daughter's death. But then word came that his daughter had died, and he was devastated. I looked at him and said, "Do not be afraid, only believe." And when we arrived at his house and I took the girl's hand and said, "Child, arise," she rose and walked. What I want you to understand is that sometimes what appears to be a tragedy or an ending is actually a transformation into something new. Sometimes the death of one version of yourself or your life is necessary for the birth of a truer, more authentic version to emerge. So when you face decisions about health or life direction or any major change, pray not just for the outcome you think you want, but for the wisdom to accept the outcome that will serve your highest good, even if it surprises you. Before you make any decision today, I also want to address the realm of relationships and connection. So many of you are lonely, even when surrounded by others, because you have not learned to pray your way into authentic connection. Authentic connection begins with knowing yourself, with understanding what you truly feel and what you truly want, and with having the courage to express that truth to others. Many of you suppress your authentic self to avoid conflict or judgment, and then you wonder why your relationships feel hollow. But when you pray, when you sit with yourself and with me until you find clarity about who you really are and what you really need, you gain the courage to show up as your authentic self in relationships. And paradoxically, it is when you are truly yourself, vulnerable, imperfect, honest, that you attract genuine connection and love. I taught my followers to pray not with grand, impressive words, but with simple, sincere truth. I taught them to say, "Give us this day our daily bread," not just in reference to physical food, but to whatever sustenance we need. I taught them to pray, "Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us," understanding that forgiveness is not a one-time event, but an ongoing practice that keeps our hearts open and our relationships healthy. I taught them to pray, "Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil," recognizing that we all face choices between love and fear, between generosity and selfishness, between integrity and compromise. Before you make decisions today, I invite you to return to these simple truths. Ask yourself, am I meeting my own basic needs and the basic needs of those I care about? Am I willing to forgive myself and others for the mistakes that are inevitable in any human life? Am I staying true to my values even when it is difficult, or am I compromising my integrity for short-term gain? There are also practical steps you can take to deepen your prayer practice and to ensure that your decisions are informed by wisdom rather than by impulse. First, set aside a specific time each morning before the demands of the day pull you in different directions to sit in silence and stillness. Even 10 or 15 minutes is enough to shift your consciousness and to open yourself to guidance. During this time, you might use words, speaking your concerns and questions into the silence, or you might use only breath and presence, observing the natural movement of your mind without trying to control it. Second, throughout the day, develop the habit of pausing before making significant decisions. Take 3 deep breaths, notice how each choice feels in your body, and ask yourself whether this decision aligns with your deepest values and your highest self. Third, at the end of each day, reflect on the decisions you made and their consequences. Did they bring you closer to wholeness or further away? Did they serve only your own interests, or did they consider the well-being of others? This daily reflection becomes a form of prayer itself, a conversation with yourself and with the divine about how you are living your life. I want to share with you the story of Peter, one of my most devoted followers, who made a decision based on fear that he later regretted deeply. On the night before my crucifixion, when soldiers came to arrest me, Peter took up a sword and cut off the ear of the servant of the high priest, determined to protect me through force. I told him to put away his sword, that those who live by the sword will die by the sword. And then, hours later, when people recognized him as my follower and questioned him about his association with me, Peter denied me 3 times out of fear for his own safety. He felt such shame and guilt for this betrayal that when he later encountered me after my resurrection and I asked him 3 times, "Do you love me?" he was devastated, understanding that his denial had been a real expression of his state of mind in that moment. But I did not condemn him. Instead, I said to him, "Tend my sheep," giving him a profound purpose and a way to transform his guilt into service. The point here is that Peter made decisions, both the violent decision to use the sword and the fearful decision to deny me, without pausing to pray, without seeking guidance, and he suffered the consequences. But even after his mistakes, grace was available to him, and his failures became the foundation for his transformation into a leader.
So I say to you this morning, you will make mistakes. You will make decisions that you later regret. You will hurt people, even when you do not intend to. You will compromise your values sometimes, and you will discover that you are not as strong or as good as you hoped you were. This is the human condition, and it is not a disqualification from my love or my guidance. Rather, your failures and mistakes are opportunities for learning, growth, and deepening compassion both for yourself and for others.
Each time you fall, you can choose to get back up and to make a different decision the next time. Each time you realize you have been wrong, you can choose to repair the damage and to move forward with greater wisdom. Each time you hurt, you can choose to bring that hurt into prayer and to let it soften your heart rather than harden it. Before you make any decision today, especially decisions that will affect other people, I ask you to expand your circle of compassion to include not only yourself, but all the beings whose lives might be touched by your choice. If you are deciding whether to take a job, consider how it will affect your family, your community, the company's other employees, and even the environmental impact of the organization's work. If you are deciding whether to end a friendship or a romantic relationship, consider the other person's heart and vulnerability, your shared history, and what that has meant. If you are deciding whether to speak up or stay silent, consider how your voice might help or harm, what the truth requires of you, and whether your words will be motivated by love or by judgment. This kind of expansive thinking does not paralyze you with guilt or indecision. Rather, it connects you with the deeper ethical dimension of your choices and helps you make decisions you can live with peacefully. I want to address now those of you who struggle with the belief that prayer does not work, that you have prayed before and received no answer, that your prayers have gone unanswered, and therefore prayer must be futile. I tell you that prayer always works, but not always in the way you expect or on the timeline you demand. Sometimes the answer to your prayer is yes, and you receive exactly what you asked for. Sometimes the answer is no, and you do not receive what you requested because something better is being prepared for you, or because the thing you asked for would actually harm you in ways you cannot yet see. Sometimes the answer is wait, and you must develop patience and trust while the circumstances align. And sometimes the answer requires you to transform your understanding of what you are truly asking for. You may pray for comfort, and the answer comes as a challenge that strengthens you. You may pray for security, and the answer comes as an opportunity to trust yourself in new ways. You may pray for love, and the answer comes as the realization that you have been loved all along. You simply needed to learn to recognize it. Before you decide to abandon your prayers or to declare that prayer does not work, I ask you to examine your expectations. Are you praying with an open heart, genuinely willing to accept whatever answer comes, or are you praying with a closed heart, demanding a specific outcome? Are you praying and then taking aligned action, or are you praying and then sitting passively expecting me to materialize your desires without your participation? Are you praying with faith and trust, or are you praying with doubt and expectation of disappointment? Are you praying only in moments of crisis and desperation, or are you building a consistent practice that allows you to deepen your relationship with the divine throughout the ups and downs of your life? The decisions you make today will ripple forward into your future, shaping the opportunities and experiences available to you. If you make decisions from a place of fear, you will attract circumstances that perpetuate that fear. If you make decisions from a place of love, you will attract circumstances that expand your capacity for love. If you make decisions from a place of integrity, you will find yourself increasingly surrounded by people and opportunities that honor and reflect that integrity. This is not magical thinking. It is simply the truth that we become what we practice, that our repeated choices create the patterns that become our lives. So, the most important decision you can make today is the decision to pause, to pray, to seek alignment with your highest self and with the divine before you make any other choice. As this prayer time draws to a close, I want to leave you with these final words. You are more powerful than you know. The connection between your consciousness and the consciousness that animates the universe is always available to you, always waiting for you to turn your attention to it. You do not need to be perfect or to have all the answers before you reach out for guidance. You do not need to clean up your life or earn the right to be heard. You are worthy of love, support, and guidance exactly as you are right now. And when you remember this, when you truly internalize this knowledge in your body and in your being, your decisions will flow from a place of empowerment rather than from desperation, from confidence in your own wisdom rather than from doubt, and from genuine care for the well-being of all rather than from narrow self-interest. Go forward into this day with the knowledge that I walk with you, that you are guided and protected, that your life has meaning and purpose, and every decision you make is an opportunity to grow, to love, and to contribute to the healing of this world. Trust yourself. Trust the process. Trust that the guidance you seek is already flowing toward you, and all you must do is open yourself to receive it. Bless you, beloved. Bless you this day and every day. Amen.